What's up, attackers? In this video, we're going to solve 10 questions that might show up on the December SAT. If you're taking a December test, this video is for you. Wait until the end of the video. And also, if you haven't watched this video where I solved the questions that repeated in the November test, the previous one, then make sure that first you watch this video, solve those questions, because these are the questions that I've solved that was repeated in the November SAT, and they can repeat in the December one as well. So make sure you first solve those questions and then watch this video. Now, as always, I've put all of these questions in an organized PDF that you can download using the link below this video. And without further ado, let's get into predictions. All right, so the first prediction that we have is an English question. As unusual, this is the first time that we are solving an English question, so I just said, why not? Let's just do it. So this question says, many works of the Greek mathematician are blank. His Elements, a treatise of mathematical knowledge, is an extant work. It can be still read. So his Elements, a treatise of mathematical knowledge, this is a non-essential clause. Like, this is basically, we don't need this, is an extant work. So this is itself, this part is a complete sentence. His Elements is an extant work, right? So what we have here, we should have a complete sentence, okay? So it's only choice C that is ending the sentence, and it starts a complete sentence here. And this first one is also a complete sentence. Many works of the Greek mathematician, 3rd century BCE, are lost. So many works is the subject, are lost is the, like, that's the verb. So we have a complete sentence here, right? And then comma, the point, the period, and then the conversely, his Elements, blah blah, is an extant work. Because this is itself a complete sentence, this is itself another complete sentence, we need to divide that with basically a period to complete, like, to separate the two sentences. So choice C is going to be the correct answer for this one. And also, when you check the choices, it's only choice C that is dividing two sentences, two complete sentences. The other ones is comma, comma, or and. These are both, like, what they're doing is they're not dividing a complete sentence. So this only choice C. That's why choice C is going to be the answer for this question. Cool. Next question that we have is a present question. There's always a present question in the exam. So this question is asking us the mass of object A is this much percent of mass of object B. So translate. Always translate. Mass of object A. So I'm going to say A is equals this much percent, means 4.44 times the mass of object B. So B. And the mass of object A, okay, A is this much percent, means 0.0074. We're dividing by 100. Or the mass of object C times C. If the mass of object C is P percent of the mass of object B, what is the value of P? We're looking for P. We're looking for this question mark, basically. And what we want to do is find the C equals something B, right? We want to find that. So C, I need to isolate the C. So here I'm going to divide both sides by this number to isolate the C. So C is going to be equal to A over 0.0074, right? And what is A? A is this much B. So I'm going to put that here. So I'm going to put 4.44 B, right? So what we're going to have is C equals, like, I'll just do that on Desmos. 4.44 divided by this number is going to give us 600. So C is equal to 600 B. Now, we want to convert this into percent because P is in percent. So this times 100 is going to give us 60,000, right? So P is basically 60,000. That is the answer to this question. Now, be careful here. Sometimes the question is asking us, what is the value of P over 1,000 or P over 100? Then you need to divide what you found here for P, that you multiply by 100, you found the P. You need to divide it by 1,000 if the question is asking us P over 1,000. So make sure what the question is asking us and you put that number there. Cool. Let's get into the next question. Is a percent question again, but this is mixed with word problem. So this question says a biologist mixed a solution that is 0.3% sodium chloride by mass with a solution that is 0.15% sodium chloride by mass to obtain a new solution which has a mass of 80 grams and contains 0.21 grams of sodium chloride. How many grams of 0.3% sodium chloride solution did the biologist use? So we are mixing a solution that is this much sodium chloride by mass with a solution that is this much sodium chloride. So let's say we're mixing a solution that is like X grams of 0.3% sodium chloride and Y grams of 0.15% sodium chloride. So how much sodium chloride is in total, like in this mixture, is going to be 0.3 divided by 100 times X. This is how much sodium chloride, pure sodium chloride, we have in this liquid, in this mixture, plus 0.15 divided by 100 times Y grams of this much. So there's this much sodium chloride in this one, which is going to give us in total, which has a mass of 80 grams and contains this much grams of sodium chloride. So in total, the mixture is going to have 0.21 grams of pure sodium chloride, which itself, the total mass of that is 80 grams, and the total mass of that is going to be x plus y equals 80 grams. So basically, this word problem gives us two equations, and now we have a system of equations which we can plug into Desmos and just see the intersection point and see what we are looking for. We're looking for how many grams of 0.3% sodium chloride was used. So basically, we're looking for the value of x, right? So let's plug this into Desmos. All right, so I plugged this into Desmos, and we can see the intersection point 60, 20. So 60 is the x coordinate, and that's what we're looking for. So choice C is going to be the answer to the solution. By the way, if you're taking the SAT and you are aiming for 1500 plus SAT score, then check the link below this video to see how I might be able to help you hit that 1500 plus SAT score. One of our students, Ellie, was able to go from 1310 to 1510 in under a month by using the strategies and the content that we teach you in the SAT Hackers program. And here's what he said.
I took 2 SATs before that. I got a 1340 in the first one and a 1310 in the second one. So after like a week doing the course, I figured, wow, the material you guys have is second to none. There's nowhere where I can find the kind of material, those kind of questions, practice questions.
You got the score. What did you get?
I got a 730 on English and 780 math. Yeah, that's 1510. You can say a 200-point increase. Math, which was my goal, 780. That's crazy.
So if you're serious with your goals and you want to hit a 1500 plus SAT score, then check the link below this video. Now let's go into the next prediction. All right, question 5 is an English question. So the question says, Antonio and colleagues had musicians and non-musicians with clinically average hearing listen to recordings of nature sounds and music in popular genres like acoustic, folk, and funk, and adjust the volume to optimize their listening enjoyment. The researchers found that for a given recording that a musician and non-musician identified as their favorite among those included in the study, optimal volume tended to be higher for the musicians than for the non-musicians. So that means musicians like to listen to music in a higher volume. Thus, if a musician and non-musician both identifies Jose Gonzalez's Heartbeats as their favorite recordings, and the musician preferred to listen to it at a volume of 82.2 decibels, then the non-musician would be expected to like to listen it in a lower decibel, right? Because musicians want to listen in a higher volume, so non-musicians would want to listen it in a lower volume than that. Let's check the choices. Find listening. So the non-musician would be expected to find listening to Heartbeats at 82.2 decibels less enjoyable than listening to it at a lower volume. This is the correct answer, but we're not selecting it. We want to find the most correct answer, so we're going to read all the choices. Choice B, non-musicians would be expected to prefer listening to other musics at 82.2 decibels over listening to Heartbeats. We can say this. C is enjoy listening to the nature sounds. We can't conclude that. Not find it enjoyable to listen to any recordings at a volume as low as this. This is also not correct. A is the most correct answer. They would want to listen. They would enjoy listening to this music in a lower decibel, in a lower volume. So choice A is the most correct answer for this question. So the next question says an engineer connects resistors in series where the resistors in the series have a total resistance of 47 ohms. In this series, there are X resistors of type A, which each have a resistance of A ohms, and Y resistor of type B, which each have a resistance of B ohms. The given equation represents this equation. According to this equation, what is the positive difference between the value of A and the value of B? This is a really good question. So for this one, what we will do, we know that the total resistance is 47 ohms, and looking at here, I can see 47 ohm here. So let's change this equation to make it equal to the total resistance, right? So I'm going to multiply both sides by 45. So that's going to give us 45 times x plus 5, x over 5 plus y over 9 equals 47, right? So now this equation is basically the total resistance is equal to total resistance. We can simplify this equation, of course. We can multiply 47 inside parentheses. So that's going to give us 9 x plus 5y equals 47. Now the way we we find the total resistance of resistors that is connected in series. Series means like this is a resistor, right? This is a resistor. We connect them in series like this. So the total resistance of these is going to be the resistance of this plus this, basically, right? We can also connect the resistors in parallel way, but this is not the question here. So we basically want to find the total resistance, and that means this type of resistance plus these type of resistance, right? So here these shows us something. Now the question says there are X resistors of type A. So in total, how many, like what's going to be the resistance of type A resistors? It's going to be X times A, right? So each one of these type A resistors has a resistance of A, right? So if we have two of them, we're going to do 2 times A. What we do here, like X times 9, right? So A is basically 9. The resistance of the resistor type A is 9. Okay, it might sound confusing, but this is the number of the resistors that we have, and this is the resistance. So this is A, and the same goes here. This is how many resistors Y of type B we have, and each one has a B, each one is B ohms, so we do 5 times Y. So this is the value of B, right? So what we want to do is the positive difference between A and B is going to be 9 minus 5 gives us 4. Choice B is the answer for this question. Very easy. The only thing we did is just multiply this equation by 45 to convert it into total form of the resistors, and then it gives us this equation, and then everything makes sense. All right, so the next question is a grammar question. In this question, we have a portrait of Silas Wright, former governor of New York, appeared on the $50 gold certificate. This form of paper currency, blank, discontinued by the US Treasury in 1933. So we have having been, to be, was, being. So in the choices we have the word being. This choice is always incorrect. Okay, why? I don't know. Just eliminate the choice D. Being, wherever you see being, just cancel that, right? So we are between 3 choices, and you can see here that this form of paper currency, this is going to be a past tense because it happened in 1933. So it should be past. It can't be to be. Having been is also can't be this one, so it's going to be just was. This form of paper currency was discontinued by the US Treasury in 1933. Choice C is the answer for this question. So the next question says the given equation relates to the real number B, C, and D, where we have this, which equation correctly expresses B in terms of C and D. A very common question, and it is very easy question. So we just need to isolate the B, as you can see in the choices. So I'm going to move first 4C to the other side. B squared is equal to 7D minus 4C. This is a question that is always like in the SAT, and you never want to miss these kind of questions. Now that we have B squared, you want to do square root to cancel this square here. So it's going to be B equals square root of 7D minus 4C, and you see this in choice D. So choice D is the answer for this question. Very easy. Just be careful with these kind of questions. Cool. Next question, we have Still Life with 3 Puppies is a painting by Paul Bla, a French artist. Gauguin created blank in 1888. So in the choices, we have those, it, them, these. These 3 choices are plural, and this one is singular. You didn't even have to check the paragraph. You could just go with choice B. If you have 3 plurals and 1 singular, the odd one in the choices is going to be the answer. Or if you have, let's say, 3 past tense and 1 simple tense, it's going to be present tense. The present tense is going to be the answer. The odd choice is going to be the answer. Usually this is what happens. So in this one again, and it also refers to, it says it is a painting, so it is singular. So choice B is the singular one is going to be the answer for this question. All right, so the next question that we have is a probability question that is very common in the SAT. So in this question we have, if a person in this city is selected at random, which of the following is closest to the probability of selecting a person who is greater than 65 years old, given that, this is the key word, the person is at least 18 years old. So we are selecting this part, so this is going to be in the numerator, what we're looking for, and then the bottom is going to be the total number that we're selecting from. Now what we're selecting from is given that the person is at least 18 years old. So we're selecting the people that are at least 18 years old. That is this section, at least 18 years old. So we are already eliminating this part. The total is going to be this one, 21 plus 29 plus 24. That's going to give us 74. So now what we have is 24 divided by 74, and that gives us 0.32, which is the closest to choice B. That's how you do this question. The key part of this question is this given that the person is at least 18 years old, so you are not selecting from this one. All right, that was the last prediction. If you want to guarantee a 1500 plus SAT score and you're serious with this in the shortest possible time, you want to get that 1500, then check the link in the description to apply for our program and work with us. We've helped students like Michael go from 1400 to 1550 in 3 weeks, or helped Veronica to hit 1530 in her first attempt as a 9th grade student, and much more students getting 1500 plus SAT scores in few months in the program. If you want to be one of those students, check the link in the description description to see if we can help you or not. Good luck on your SATs, and I'll see you in the next video.